All right, I've shown you some videos already on how to get set up in differential leveling. I wanted to do a little bit that I normally do on the board with y'all to try to kind of graphically explain what happens in differential leveling. So far, the video that you've watched, we have the one that was outside in front of the shop. We set up an instrument and we shot to benchmark, and then which was backside. We calculated a height of instrument, and then we rotated the instrument, shot a foresight to just one other location. That's where the video stops. During that whole process, that's one loop of differential leveling. So at that point, you can stop. What I did want to tell y'all is, so I'm going to show that to y'all graphically. Okay, so here's my little instrument symbol right here. Hopefully that shows up on camera. So here is my instrument. We set up the instrument. This is like a bird's eye view, an aerial view. So we set up the instrument. We shot a back sight to our benchmark 1. Okay? We add that number to the benchmark elevation to get height of instrument. Okay? Then the instrument is rotated and we shoot a foresight to TP1. Okay? That's where we stopped. During this process right here, we need to make sure that that instrument does not move on the tripod. We need to make sure that the tripod doesn't move. That's why we anchor it down to the ground really well. So during this process, if the instrument moves or becomes out of the level at any point, you got to start over, okay? So at this point, we have shot the elevation of TP1 and we recorded that in our book, okay? Now, if we wanted to continue further on down the line, let's say that our stopping point is way down here, pretty far away, that we could not shoot it just in one shot. Let's say that benchmark 2 is way over here, okay? So we would have to do that process a few times to get us here, okay? So what we would do is we would pick locations on the ground that we wanted to also shoot elevations of that would help us in the future during the construction process that we could use in this project. So even though we just need this point, we're going to shoot some other elevations. So we would mark out those points with a flag, and let's just say we do one more point. Okay, this would become TP2. So I'm going to show you all this in your field book after I go through this. And I'm going to show you how we enter these numbers in our field book. So once we've done this process right here, we've shot the foresight, we've calculated the elevation for TP1. We now can pick the instrument up. The instrument would move. So we would move it basically in the middle of these 2 points. Set the instrument up. What do? We have to level it again. Okay, we've got to go through that whole process again to level it. So once we level the instrument, first thing we have to do is, since we want all of these elevations to tie together, is we are going to shoot back to that last location because we know that elevation. So we're shooting a string of elevations to get to this one over here. So this instrument right here, we set it up, we level it, we shoot a backside to TP1. We do the same math calculations. We add the backside reading to the elevation of TP1 to give us the height of instrument of where we are right now. Okay? Then we rotate the instrument. The rod goes to TP2. We shoot a foresight. We subtract the foresight reading from the height of instrument to give us our new elevation of TP2. During that process, again, make sure that the instrument stays level, okay? once we've done this and we've done the calculations and gotten the elevation to TP2, what can we do? We can pick the instrument up and move further. So we get to this point. We set the instrument up. We level it again. Hopefully you're catching on to this. This reading right here is a back sight reading to that point. So the rod person stays there. We set the instrument up. We shoot the elevation of TP2, a back sight reading. Back sight gets added to the elevation of TP2 to give us the height of instrument. The instrument rotates. We sight in on our last location, benchmark 2. That is a foresight reading. The foresight gets subtracted from the height of instrument to give us the elevation of benchmark 2, whatever that calculation winds up being. Okay? So that is the process of differential leveling. You can go on as long as you want to. As long as you keep shooting back sights to the last location, all of those elevations stay relevant to one another. So at the end, we can look at how that elevation changed from that point all the way down there at benchmark 1 and how it might rise, risen or fell till we got to this point right here. You know, it could go up and down the whole time. But we would have the elevation of benchmark 2. So in this video, I'm also going to show y'all how this gets laid out in the field book itself, okay? All right, so let's pick up where we would input this into the field book. So our last video showed that we started out with an elevation of 25. That's what we assumed that benchmark 1 was. That was the elevation of benchmark 1. So the elevation of benchmark 1 is 25 feet. We set up the instrument, we leveled it, we shot a back sight reading. This is what we read through the instrument. That's what we saw on the rod. We added that number to the elevation to give us the height of the instrument on the tripod. We then rotated the instrument. The rod person moved to TP1. We shot a foresight. Notice how we dropped down because we're shooting a foresight to TP1. So we're now on the line that deals with TP1. So we shot a foresight. This is what we saw through the instrument. We subtract that number from the height of instrument to give us the elevation of TP1. Okay? So in our video, we talk about moving on to TP2 and then also benchmark 1. So we're moving down the line. So the instrument would move. We would set the instrument up. We would take a back sight reading to TP1. So let's create a number. Let's say our back sight reading is 5. I'm just going to use very easy numbers here. 5.6 feet. We add the back sight to our elevation. So let's do the math. 5.6 plus our elevation of TP1, 26.79 equals 32.39 feet is our height of instrument. Okay? Go over that again. We set the instrument up for the second time. We shot a back sight reading to TP1. We added that back sight to the last elevation to give us our height of instrument. So now we are going to shoot a foresight to TP2. So we rotate the instrument, we take a foresight reading, and let's say that we get 4.00 feet on the rod. Once again, I'm using easy numbers here. So we now subtract the foresight from our height of instrument to give us our new elevation of TP2. So let's do that. 32.39 feet. We will subtract 4.00 to give us an elevation of 28.39 feet. That's the elevation for TP2. Okay? So now our last thing that we're going to do is now we're going to shoot for benchmark 2. So we move the instrument again. We set the instrument up. We level it. We shoot a back sight reading to TP2 to give us a new height of instrument. So let's do that. So let's say we take a back sight reading and we get 5.00 feet. We would add the 5.00 feet, the back sight reading, to our last elevation to give us our new height of instrument. So 28.39 feet plus 5.00 equals 33.39 feet. That is our height of instrument. So now we rotate the instrument to benchmark 2, We rotate the instrument, and now we will take our foresight reading to benchmark 2. So let's say we take a reading and we get 4.5 feet. This foresight reading gets subtracted from our height of instrument to give us the new elevation of benchmark 2. So 33.39 feet minus 4.5 equals an elevation of 28.89 feet. So from benchmark 1, we have gone from 25 feet to 28.89 feet. We rose 3.89 feet from those 2 points, okay? That's how we would do this in our field book. If we wanted more points in here, in the world there's usually several points, you keep going in that same process.